Hi everyone, my name is Carly and I work with Links for Greener Learning. Welcome to another one of our From Our Growing Diversity Garden series where we feature a variety of products, natural body care products that we make with ingredients from our garden. Today we are making a Calendula Mint Lip Balm, and it's a simple recipe for a lip balm that's good for all seasons, dry lips, sunburnt lips. So something that you can use at any time of the year. And let's get started. So the first ingredient on the list is half a cup of beeswax, just the pelleted form. And we just have a big bag of it here that you can find. And beeswax is very good it's rich in vitamin A, and it helps in just a general natural moisturizer. So I have half a cup measured out here, and we've kind of created a double boiler system here. With the element, we have a pot of water, and then on top we've just placed a metal bowl, just because you don't want the direct heat on the ingredients here. So we will add half a cup of beeswax, and then cocoa butter is our next ingredient, a quarter cup. Again, we just purchased one of these big blocks here, and then we shave it down into smaller pieces. And cocoa butter is high in fatty acids, and it's again a natural moisturizer for the skin. And I'll just measure out a quarter cup here. And we just want to get those ingredients in the pot first, because they'll take a little bit to melt down. And there we go. You'll just want to check on it every minute or so and give it a stir. And yeah, so what else do we have? Sweet almond oil. We'll want to wait till that melts down first, and then we will add some of the other oils that are in the ingredients list. Pretty much because they're already at the consistency that we want to have them at, the olive oil and the sweet almond oil. And for the Calendula Olive Oil, what we did for this was pretty much just grow our own calendula in the garden. Calendula grows really well here in Niagara. The climate is perfect, and it's an easy flower to grow. It gets pretty lush, and it produces quite a lot of flowers throughout the whole summer season. And it's a good plant. The more you harvest the flowers, the more it'll continue to bloom. So we collected quite a few of the dried flowers, and you just harvest them throughout the season and kind of have them in a jar to store. And yeah, so we infused some olive oil with the flowers, and that's simply just taking the flower heads and just pulling off the flowers and putting them in a jar of olive oil. You can put in the whole seed head there, but the only difference is that it'll turn a little bit more of a green color, whereas if you use just the flower petals, it will be a nice kind of amber yellow color there. It's really beautiful. Yeah, so I mean, it depends how much you are making and what you are using this olive oil for. You can use it for various different body care products. We just kind of made a big batch of it here in one big jar, so we just filled it up with as many petals as we can and put some olive oil in, submersed all of the flowers in the olive oil. And there's a couple different ways that you can help this to be infused. You can easily just leave it outside in the sun for a day or so, and the heat from the sun will kind of release all the properties of the calendula into the oil. Or you can also do it on a oven top. You can take a pot, and what we did was, again, you don't want the direct heat on the jar, so we just took the jar of the olive oil and the calendula leaves and we put it in a pot on the stove, but on the bottom of the pot we just took these canning lids just to kind of create a bit of distance between the heat source, and fill it with water and boil it for 4 or 5 hours, and that will naturally, the heat will again naturally release the properties of the calendula. And that's a fairly simple thing to do, and then we have this whole stash of calendula oil to use for different products. So it's starting to melt down. And I just have my element on a medium heat right now. You don't want it too high or too low. Just a medium heat is fine. And while we're still waiting for that, we also purchased some of these biodegradable lip balm holders online, and they're great because you avoid using plastic, and it's a nice holder for the lip balm there, a nice natural alternative. Just a little bit longer to boil down. The type of mint that we're using, you can use spearmint, you can use peppermint. I imagine you can use things like lavender, any kind of essential oil that you prefer the flavor or the scent of. The base of the lip balm is pretty basic and neutral, so you can freely add any kind of oils. But today we are using some spearmint. And the ingredients from this list, if you make one batch, I believe it makes about 9 or 10 of these small containers here. So it makes a good amount, perfect for you to store for longer term use or to hand out to family and friends. Alright, so we have our beeswax and our cocoa butter all melted down now here. And next we are going to add our almond oil. 2 tablespoons of almond oil is what it calls for.
But pretty generous.
1, 2. And our olive oil, you can just kind of directly pour from the bottle, or you can use a cheesecloth to strain it into your spoon or your container.
Do you need a strainer? Nope. Just a little bit more.
I'm just going to add a little bit extra here. Just to make sure it's the right consistency. We've made this batch before with a bit too much of the solid oils, the cacao butter and the beeswax, and it actually turned out, it was just too solid of a base. So you just want to make sure you have more of the liquid oil. And then drops of the mint oil as well.
Okay, pull those petals out
again. And I just have this little handy container here that I will use to pour directly into the lip balm containers.
Did you do the oils already? Mm-hmm. Oh, good for you.
And then you'll also just want to be sure of not getting any of the liquid, the water that's on the outside of the bowl there. The condensation buildup, you don't really want the water in that mixture, so just be careful of that. And then just simply take that while it's still hot. You kind of got to act a little quick here. And pour it directly into the container. And you'll notice that it turns into this beautiful golden yellow color. And once you pour it, you just want to make sure you let it settle. Try not to move it until it hardens a little bit more. And there we have it. So this batch that we did today, right now it made 6, 7, 7.5 little containers. So a good amount for you to share with friends or family. And basically that's it. You just want to let it settle. You'll notice it'll start to harden, and what we like to do is just take a few, 1 or 2 of the flower petals if you have some spare, and just kind of add it to the top of your lip balm as a little nice decoration. It always looks nice to see the plants that are in the ingredients there. This is one of the finished products that we made from our last batch. As you can see, makes a nice solidified lip balm. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, there you go, an easy, simple recipe. You can grow the calendula in your own garden. Olive oil, almond oil, spearmint are all kind of common things that we have in our kitchen already. So thank you again for joining me here for From Our Growing Diversity Garden series, and we'll see you again soon.